The courtroom was already packed before the hearing even began. Every seat was filled. Reporters stood near the back wall. People whispered to each other, wondering if the rumors were true. Then the doors opened. 28-year-old Ethan Sterling walked into the courtroom wearing a perfectly tailored suit worth more than most people's monthly rent. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't worried. He looked amused. The Sterling family owned luxury hotels, office towers, and shopping centers across the state. Their name appeared on buildings, scholarships, and charity galas. Ethan carried himself like someone who had never been told no. At the plaintiff's table sat Maria Reyes, owner of a small neighborhood restaurant she had spent nearly 15 years building from scratch. 3 months earlier, her business had nearly collapsed after a violent confrontation involving Ethan and several friends. Now they were finally facing each other in court. Judge Judy entered. The room immediately fell silent. She reviewed the case file before looking directly at Ethan. "Mr. Sterling," she began, "you're being sued for property damage and business losses totaling $70,000. Do you understand why you're here today?" Ethan leaned back in his chair. "I understand why she's here," he said with a smirk. Several people in the audience exchanged looks. Judge Judy's eyes narrowed. "What exactly does that mean?" Ethan shrugged. "It means some people see opportunity when they see a wealthy family." The courtroom reacted instantly. Maria lowered her eyes. Judge Judy wasn't impressed. "Let's hear from the plaintiff." Maria stood. Her hands trembled slightly. "3 months ago," she said, "Mr. Sterling came into my restaurant just before closing. We told him politely that the kitchen was already shut down." She paused. He became angry. According to Maria, Ethan demanded service despite being told the restaurant was closed. When employees refused, he began shouting. A display shelf was knocked over. Several decorations were broken. Customers became frightened and left. But the worst damage happened later. The next morning, 2 front windows had been shattered. Outdoor furniture had been destroyed. Business dropped dramatically after the incident. Judge Judy turned toward Ethan. "Did you threaten her employees?" Ethan laughed softly. "People say things when they're frustrated. That's not an answer. It wasn't a threat." Judge Judy wrote something in her notes. Then Ethan made a mistake, a very big mistake. He leaned forward confidently. "Your Honor, my family has invested millions into this city. We've helped build half the downtown area." Nobody spoke. Then he added, People around here benefit from what we do." The room became uncomfortable. Judge Judy stared at him. "What does that have to do with this case?" Ethan smiled. "I'm just saying my family has influence." The judge closed her folder, slowly, deliberately, and for several seconds, she said nothing. The silence was worse than shouting. Finally, she spoke. "Influence is not evidence." The audience nodded, but Ethan still didn't understand. "My father knows most of the important people in this city," he continued. His attorney looked horrified. Judge Judy raised an eyebrow. "That's supposed to help you?" Ethan didn't answer. For the first time, confidence started fading from his face. Then the judge turned to Maria. "Do you have evidence?" Maria nodded. "Yes, Your Honor." The bailiff handed a flash drive to the court. Ethan suddenly looked uncomfortable. The courtroom monitor came to life. Security footage appeared on the screen. The video showed the restaurant shortly before closing. Employees were cleaning. Then Ethan entered with 2 friends. The footage captured everything: the arguing, the shouting, the damaged display shelf, the threats. At one point, Ethan could clearly be heard saying, "You'll regret this." The video ended. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Judge Judy looked directly at him. "That was you." Ethan swallowed hard. "I was upset. You were destructive. It wasn't that serious." Judge Judy's voice became colder. "It became serious when innocent people suffered because of your behavior." The courtroom remained silent. Then another piece of evidence appeared. A series of text messages. The messages showed Ethan bragging to friends after the incident. One message read, "Nobody's going to do anything. My family owns this town." Gasps echoed through the room. Ethan immediately looked toward his attorney. The attorney looked away. Judge Judy reviewed the messages carefully. Then she placed them on her desk. "You spent your entire life believing someone else would clean up your mistakes." Ethan didn't respond. "You think money protects you from consequences. Still, nothing." Judge Judy continued. "Money can buy buildings. It can buy lawyers. It can buy advertisements." She paused. "But it cannot buy character." The audience erupted into applause. The bailiff quickly restored order. Ethan looked pale. The confidence he carried into court had completely disappeared. Judge Judy then addressed Maria. How much has this affected your business? Maria fought back tears. Everything, Your Honor. I almost lost the restaurant. The room became emotional. Many people understood exactly what that meant. Years of hard work, years of sacrifice, almost destroyed because someone felt untouchable. Judge Judy nodded. Then she turned back toward Ethan. Do you understand what you've done? For the first time all day, he looked genuinely unsure. My father expects me to handle problems. Judge Judy responded immediately. No, she leaned forward. Your father may expect results. Society expects responsibility. The courtroom went silent again. That sentence hit harder than anything else she had said. Judge Judy reviewed her notes one final time. Then she delivered her ruling. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Maria covered her mouth. Tears filled her eyes. Judge Judy continued. Mr. Sterling will pay the full cost of repairs. Ethan lowered his head. In addition, punitive damages are awarded due to reckless behavior and intimidation. The audience reacted immediately, but Judge Judy wasn't finished. She looked directly at Ethan. You entered this courtroom believing your family's reputation would protect you. Her voice became firm. It didn't. You believed influence was power. It isn't. You believed wealth created respect. It doesn't. Then came the line nobody would forget. Respect is earned. Character is earned. Accountability is earned. She paused. And today you earned a very expensive lesson. The courtroom erupted. Maria cried tears of relief. Marauders rushed to write notes. Ethan sat motionless. The young man who had walked into court feeling untouchable now looked completely defeated. Judge Judy picked up her gavel. Court is adjourned. The gavel struck, the sound echoed through the room. And with it ended the illusion that money could place someone above the truth. Because on that day, the courtroom didn't bend toward power, it bent toward justice.